Hey everybody, welcome to Bobby Builds It. Today, going back to visiting with our friend, the 6-foot cedar fence picket. We're going to see if we can beat the big box store by making a critter feeder like this one over here. We're actually going to build two. I'm going to build one where all the cuts I'm going to make are with this jigsaw. There may be some other tools come into play, clamps and guides, whatnot, but all the cuts with that just to show you can make stuff without the big tools. Then I'm going to do another one with the big tools. It'll be a little bit elevated. The one at the store had a back of 10 3/4 inches and was 6.5 inches wide. These pickets are only about 5.5 inches. We're going to stick with that. If you really wanted to glue up a bigger panel then cut it down to 6.5, go for it. I'm not doing that. They're about 9/16 thick, these boards. We're not going to worry too much about that 16th. So we're just going to mark here at 10.5 and make our first cut. This clamp and the one beside it are probably a little bit of overkill for this, but I have them. I figured I'd use them, especially when the board is long. Made my mark already. I'm going to line my blade up. And I'm going to hold my speed square here really tight, down on the board, up against. It's going to help me cut this line straight, hopefully. Let's see how it goes. Well, that didn't come out great, and you might be able to see a little bit of my original line as well. Not exactly sure how I got off. It's just something moved somewhere. It happens. I'm going to try to clean it up using the same method. All right. This is the piece I practiced with before I started filming. It's a little bit off as well, but I just kept trying and trying, and these other ones are just way off. So what's going on is the saw is vibrating as it goes down, and the shoe, instead of just following along the edge of the square, it's actually vibrating enough that it's pushing it to the left. I've tried several other cuts and it just keeps happening. I even tried once clamping the wood or the square down to the wood where I needed it to be, and then cutting. And when I did that, it actually sort of went like that a little bit. So probably just more practice, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my cuts I need, and we're going to just stick with what we get. All our cuts are made. Back is 10.5 inches. This is the bottom piece, and the way this one's going to get put together, it came out to 6 inches. Then I've got these two side pieces, and they are 1 inch wide a piece, or when you put them down, call them 1 inch tall. This one we're just going to put together like this. If you wanted to put a lip on the front, obviously this would need to be a little bit wider, 1/2 inch or so, depending on your boards. We're ready to glue it up. I'm using Titebond 3. Use whatever exterior glue you like. On to the second one that we're going to run through the joiner and the planer and all that good stuff. So I did my math right. I need about 21 inches of boards. My joiner says to not run anything through it that's shorter than 10 inches. So we're going to make our first cut for this 21 and run it through the joiner, run it through the planer. Then we're going to come back and cut them down to size. After thinking about it a minute, I realized there's no real need for me to square up either of these edges. So I'm just going to clean up each face here just using the jointer. I'm going to take as little as possible off so it's still as thick as it can be.
Welcome to the lost audio portion of today's video.
Here I'm just explaining that I'm going to cut off the bottom piece first, because that's not going to have the design routed in it like the sides and the back will. The dimensions of that, I think it came out to 6 and 15, 30 seconds, something like that. Not quite 6.5 inches. Now we're just going to measure and mark it up. Here I'm just going over routing the design into the back and side pieces. What we're using is a 1/2 inch V-groove bit. I'm setting up to the original depth from the side. I'm going to run it through this way. Then I'm going to flip the board over and run it through the other side. The reason I'm doing that is because I don't think I've got enough depth to my table to just run it through, and it will cut down on the number of times I actually have to move the fence. I think I ended up needing to move the fence either 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch to make it right. I can't really remember, and I unfortunately don't have notes for that. 15 minutes later, here's our final result. I wasn't able to get the middle. I just did not have enough depth on my table with the fence to get that part. I maybe could have got out the edge guide and routed it by hand, but we're just going to call that a feature instead of a bug. Now we've got 3 more cuts to make, and we'll do that on the miter saw. A stop block is set up at roughly an inch. It was just more important to me that all 3 pieces be the same, more so than how big they actually were. Let's get them cut. Here's the rustic one. Here's the little bit more refined one. I noticed one problem when I did my dry fit, and this just didn't come out even. I think I need to tune up my miter saw. And my glue up, I was a little off back here, and everything just compounded. I don't know how I'm going to fix that yet. I've got a couple of ideas, but for the sake of this video, I just want to get done. But when I come up with my idea, I'll make a video about that. The finishing touches, we're going to drill through the bottom for our screw, and then a couple of drain holes, and then we're going to pre-drill for the mounting screws. This one, not having a front, it maybe doesn't need the drain holes, but we're going to do them anyway. And then just a couple of holes for the mounting screws. Picked up some 3.5-inch exterior screws that we're going to use to hold the corn cob on with. And the corn cob, it'll just slide right on there. And there you go. When I saw these at the store, they were $12.99. I think the last time I looked on the website to try to get the dimensions, they were $9.99. One of these is less than $4. I have enough left to make a third. Put your time, value your time how you need to. But yeah, I think we beat the big box store on this one. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Reading the marketing materials for this, it's like the idea is you put these up away from your house and away from your bird feeders, and the squirrels will go after this instead of your bird seed. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Have a good one.